Welcome back to another Spirit Island video. In this video, we're going to be covering another custom-made spirit. Well, I mean, it's kind of custom-made. It's called Spreading Rot Renews the Earth. Now, this was a spirit that was created by Eric Roos. Hopefully I'm saying his name correctly, but you can actually read it down here. They created it with the help of the audience at this convention right here in 2021. It was then shared freely. I guess this is March 28th, and he basically created the spirit board, of course, as well as the uniques. And there is a user named gosh, I'm gonna butcher this person's name. I'm just gonna call them MT, and MT created the artwork for this spirit. And man, I think the artwork is incredible for this spirit. I mean, this really gives off Spirit Island vibes. Like this artist here who made it just really knew how to capture Spirit Island artwork. And I think this is probably, I mean, the best artwork I've seen for a custom spirit. Like just the artwork depicting Earth here, as well as Rot in this picture. And then you have the invader back here with the infesting spores artwork. Just everything. And then here you could see like the building in the background. It's just incredible. Incredible job creating the artwork for this custom spirit. Now, it was said that Eric had said that this spirit is unlikely to ever make a debut, and it is also the developers have said, Ted, Eric, they said that they believe the spirit is too strong, as well as there are a couple players in my play group who've played the spirit quite a lot who said the spirit is pretty broken in power level. I have seen it played, but I've never actually played it. I do plan on I'm trying to get a couple games in with the spirit, mainly because it is the elements I like. I love plant spirits, so it's moon, plant, water, as well as a high defensive and utility, which is tends to be the spirits that I enjoy the most. So, with all of that said, let's talk about the spirit. I'll kind of structure this like a is this spirit for you video, and let's get to it. So, the setup is going to be two presents and a disease in the highest number wetland. The playstyle states it's a bit messy, wants to splatter wilds and disease everywhere, but they get removed by invader actions, and wants to stop stockpile rot, but it doesn't keep all that well. So rot is this extra resource that you get to use. It gains and spends rot in a lot of ways. Paying close attention results in an intricate and finicky stockpile management game. Playing more fast and loose works, but incurs some inefficiency and missed opportunities. Pick your style. So it says complexity, moderate, fast, and loose, to high, careful. The summary powers is a decent offense, low control, fear, high defense, and pretty high utility. And it is a wilds and disease user. Um, I took some time looking at the spirit board as well as the cards. I I don't think this is a moderate spirit. To me, it seems like there's a lot going on, so I would be quick to chalk it up as a high complexity spirit. Um, but I have yet to play it. Now, one of my favorite things about this spirit is its use of wilds and disease. We have spirits like Roots or Keeper or Wounded Waters. These are spirits that use these extra tokens like disease and wilds, but they don't feel like wilds or disease spirits. Spreading Rot feels like a wilds and disease spirit, and I think that's awesome. Okay, so let's look at the special rules here. Spreading Rot is going to have three special rules. The first rule is going to talk about our resource called Rot. And think of Rot as just a number that's going to go up or down, and you have ways to increase that number. And it says during time passes, you're always going to lose half of your Rot rounded down, and then you gain that much energy. I mean, this is really powerful because it's going to be able to give you an absurd amount of energy, and probably one of the reasons why the spirit is pretty broken. That combined with your fairly high starting energy, I can definitely see the spirit being very powerful. So just kind of talk about what rot is here. Actually, I'll talk about that in a second. Let's look at the other special rules. So the second one says whenever invaders, Dahan, or beasts are destroyed in your lands, so that means lands with your presence, gain one rot. And then for this rule, removing beasts also counts as destroying them, so you'd gain rot. And the most interesting special rule is actually this last one, and it says in your lands, so lands with your presence. So in your lands with wilds/disease, invaders and Dahan have -1 health, and this is so cool. Essentially, it's like Rising Heat here. Rising Heat special rule, but instead of needing sacred sites, you just need a token. And I think that is I think it's very interesting. So looking at the growth options here, we are a pick two spirit, and this is something that we might not get in the future. During the last playtest cycle, we had playtested a bunch of the NI spirits as pick twos, and basically none of that ended up getting through just because we found ways to break all of them. And that's just because the growth options tend to be very, very flexible, and all of those pick twos turned into what we have here. So looking at these growth options, we have a -2 rot, so you're spending that resource that I talked about earlier, and you can reclaim and gain energy. You have add a presence option, and then if you put that presence in a jungle or wetland, you get to gain a rot, so that's increasing that resource. You have gain a power card, and you have a forget a power card and discard to gain a power card, gain 2 rot, and gain 4 elements. And I think this is a lot where that theme is coming from, right? You're kind of recycling stuff from discard, getting new cards, and it's kind of the whole theme of this spirit. Your tracks are really, really strong. Being at a 4 energy, 5 card play spirit, you have abilities to get 4 rot on the tracks, and this is every turn. You have 3 elements on top track, a moon on bottom track, and a reclaim 1 on bottom track. I've never played the spirit, but just based on what I know, because you can get so much rot from your growth options as well as your cards, even though I haven't talked about the cards, but and because you start with 2 energy, I'm pretty sure at most you're going to go to the top, this water and the rot here. I think you pretty much want to strictly stay along bottom track because you're going to be gaining so much energy from the losing the rot every turn, as well as you can just draft 1 or 0 energy cards. So that's just my first impression. I don't know for sure, because it does look like top track you get the elements as well as more rot. But yeah, not sure I have to play the spirit. Now, both of these innates, the left innate and the right innate, this is very, very clunky just looking at it, and this definitely, to me, screams like early development. So the left innate is a slow power, 1 range, and the first tier is going to give you +1 rot per moon. The second tier costs 3 rot, and then it can heal a blight. The third threshold costs 1 rot, adds a wilds, and the final threshold just removes a blight. So it's a way to a very defensive tool that you can use. You can either use it to gain rot or spend rot, and then add wilds or remove blight. Well, technically it does both, but you get the point. So the right innate here, it's going to target lands with wilds and disease. It's a slow power, 1 range. You can pay 2 rot to add disease, and then you get to do 1 damage, push to Han, gain a fear, push those tokens, and then if you have 4 rot, you get to repeat the power. And once again, those lands with those tokens are all going to have -1 health. So doing this 1 damage essentially kills a building. And then this innate allows you to move those tokens around to kind of spread that -1 health to invaders. So looking at our uniques here, the first one is Exaltation of the Reforming Land. It's a 0 energy slow, sun, moon, water, plant. It's a slow power, and it's targeting, this should say another because it is an exaltation effect. I believe this is a typo. It says that target spirit gains an energy, you gain 2 rot, and then target spirit may pay 1 energy to add up to 2 destroyed presence. 2 destroyed presence to their jungle wetland. You may do likewise. So it's a way to restore destroyed presence, and it's very on theme. And to me, this card is kind of screaming, maybe I'll be growing presence in lands with invaders. Those invaders will die, same with my presence, or maybe those behind die with my presence. And then this is a way to kind of add those presence back. We have Infesting Spores, 2 energy slow. It's a fire plant animal, 1 range, add a disease, or +1 damage. If disease are present, +1 damage. So remember, if disease are present, that's going to give us 2 damage. And remember, invaders have that -1 health. So it essentially kills 2 towns in a disease land. And then if you pay 5 rot, you get to do both and gain a fear. So once again, you're generating a lot of rot from your growth options, your tracks, and this is a way where you can spend that rot to just do a ton of damage, right? Add a disease and then do 2 damage in that land, as well as getting a fear. Land of Deadfall and Rot, 1 energy fast, water, earth, plant, sacred site power. It's either defend 3 or gain 2 rot +1 for invader slash Dahan. And I'm pretty sure it should say +1 rot for invader slash Dahan, and it says a max of 7 rot gained. I'm not entirely sure. I'm pretty sure that the where it says max 7 rot gained, I think that's for this whole clause here. And not just the 1 per invader Dahan, but I'm not entirely sure. And then it says during time passes, you may pay 2 rot to reclaim this card instead of discarding it. And I think that's really good. I mean, this is a defend 3. I mean, it is sacred site range, which is the toughest part, but it is a defend 3 that you can kind of recycle in your hand. So my guess is I want to abuse that as much as I can by spending my rot to keep having this thrown back into my hand to defend lands. We've talked about these cards. Okay, the last card, we have Worms and Bugs, Enrich the Soil. It's a 1 energy fast, moon, water, earth, animal, sacred site, fast power. It says the next time invaders are destroyed, add a wilds or remove one blight. You may pay 3 rot to do both and generate a fear. So we have 3 cards that allow us to spend this extra rot resource to have an extra effect. We have a left and a right innate that lets us spend that rot resource as to get a effect, and then we're also losing half of that resource and gaining that extra energy. So it's a very very interesting spirit. Definitely one that I would like to try at some point. I know NI is right around the corner, so we'll see if I have any if I'll have time to actually play this spirit. My first impression, just looking at everything here, like I said, it seems very strong. Then again, I was also told that before I started making this video. But it just, I don't know. Part of me wants to go top track. So like my early thoughts, right, would be something like top track, bottom track, bottom track, bottom track. So I want to get to that 3 plays as soon as I can. And then I'm constantly choosing these options. And then whenever I want to hit these innates, I'm going to choose this option here. And here's the other thing too, like you can, the cards in discard, like you get to recycle, like the card goes back in your hand. It allows you to dodge this pretty weak reclaim option. And then eventually, once you get to this moon, my guess is you have a massive power spike. And that's because that moon is going to be necessary to hit this moon quite often. If you like this video, like, subscribe for more content. I will see you guys in the next video.